The United States is one of the few countries around the world that's never had its land occupied by a foreign enemy. And why, you might ask? Because of the Second Amendment. If an American challenger wants to take on America on its own land, they not only have to deal with the American military, but also 393 million gun owners. Not only do guns provide us safety on a national level, but also within its borders, with last year over 400,000 violent crimes being stopped by someone with a firearm, whether it be a police officer or a citizen with a gun. So today I'd like to discuss and persuade you to be pro-Second Amendment. And first off, I'd like to say I'm not a crazy gun nut, Trump-supporting redneck that just likes guns. I've thought about this on a deeper level. I've done my own research. I've looked at the statistics. I've looked at the gun laws. And I've come to the conclusion, and I hope you do too, that the Second Amendment is imminent to American safety, not only from a tyrannical government, foreign enemies, and violent criminals, things of that nature. So I'd like to start off by directly quoting the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. As we head into 2021 in January, one of the most anti-gun presidents and vice presidents will be inaugurated into the White House. This is a big problem for gun owners across America. Already Joe Biden has said that he's going to ban the online sale of firearms. And for Joe Biden, I ask, and any anti-gun lawmaker, what about the single mom with 2 children that works 2 jobs and doesn't have the time to go to a gun store and do a background check and do all that in a gun store, which takes a lot longer than you think? He wants to ban the online sale of firearms and says that there's a loophole. You don't have to do a background check online. You don't have to provide a permit, which is simply not true. I've done the research. You have to provide a background check for all firearms being bought. And within states that you have to have a permit to buy a firearm, like North Carolina, here you have to have a permit to buy a handgun. West Virginia, you don't have to have a permit to buy any firearm, but you have to go through a background check first. And so, heading back to the quote earlier, the Second Amendment shall not be infringed. If Joe Biden were to enact these extremely unconstitutional laws, there would be uproar in the political realm and also within the 393 million gun owners in America. But it's just impossible. So it's crucial that we uphold and stand by the Second Amendment, which brings me to my next topic: what America would look like without guns. An America without firearms would look like many of the large cities and states within our country that has strict gun laws, but they've proven not to work time and time again. In Maryland has the strictest gun laws in America. Within Maryland, Baltimore has the highest per capita murder rate in the U.S. That's not population, more people being killed here, it's per capita, even with having these strict gun laws. Most of these murders being gun-related, even with these strict gun laws. Although a threat of tyrannical government is not imminent to America yet, I believe if they try to take away guns and do strict gun laws, that the gun laws will just keep getting harsher and harsher to the point where it is being taken, and not only gun rights, but other rights, free speech, things like that will be taken. That's why it's imminent, because the Second Amendment is the backbone behind all the other rights. I've heard this quote before, that you can't have any of the other amendments, the First Amendment, Third Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment, without having the Second Amendment, because it's the backbone. The reason the government won't enact extremely harsh laws is because they know that people have guns. 393 million. So I'd like to talk about some of the leaders across the world in time that have taken away the guns. Adolf Hitler took away the guns in his government the Third Reich, which inevitably led to the death of 6 million Jews that had nothing to protect themselves against their own government. Stalin banned guns within his dictatorship, which led to an absolute tyrannical government. Fidel Castro banned guns. So I can understand how it'd be easy for someone to think that we're not in the same times as we were then, as other countries were then. But you can't predict the future. And the Founding Fathers implemented the Second Amendment because they experienced what a tyrannical government is. And no one thought that there would be a tyrannical government when they first came here. That's why the Founding Fathers put it in. And it goes back to the quote in the Second Amendment that it shall not be infringed for the security of the free state. So after further review, if I've persuaded you any to take a second look at firearms and the Second Amendment, I would encourage you to go to NRA.com and get a membership. The NRA provides pro-gun lawyers to fight gun laws in court. And if you're iffy about it, I'll read you the mission statement of the NRA. So the NRA mission statement is summarized: to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States, especially within reference to inalienable right to individuals and American citizens, guaranteed by such Constitution to acquire, possess, collect, exhibit, transport, carry, transfer ownership, and enjoy the right to use firearms. So in closing, I'm not a crazy gun nut. I'm not a crazy Trump supporter, redneck, whatever. And I don't believe every single argument that the Republican Party puts out there. But I am pro-Second Amendment, and I encourage you to be too. Because America without guns is subject to tyranny and subject to crime against its own innocent citizens. Because if you take away guns from the innocent citizens, the only hands that guns will be in is the ones that want to do harm. The criminals and a tyrannical government or foreign invasion. Because they would know that American citizens don't have guns. That's the reason Japan didn't attack America on its own soil. When they bombed Pearl Harbor, they stayed in the air and went back to Japan. The leader of Japan at that time said he would never attack America on its own soil because he knows 393 million gun owners. So, with all this being said, I'd like to leave you with a quote from Mark Robinson. He's just elected the first black lieutenant governor of North Carolina. And this is from a city council meeting in Greensboro, where after a shooting they wanted to enact strict gun laws on the citizens of Greensboro. So Mark Robinson says, I've heard a lot of people here tonight talk about this group and that group, domestic violence, these blacks and these minorities, and that minorities. What I want to know is this: when all y'all gonna start standing up for the majority? I am the majority. I'm a law-abiding citizen who's never shot anybody, never committed a serious crime, never committed a felony. But it seems like every time we have one of these shootings, nobody wants to put the blame where the blame belongs and restrict my right, my constitutional right, and my right to own a firearm to protect my family. But y'all don't want to put the blame where it belongs. Thank you.